At the New Jersey SBDC Network, our mission is simple: to help businesses grow and succeed. Our consulting, training, and information services make it easier for businesses to reach their potential. Whether you're currently in operation or just starting out, we have the right tools, resources, and expertise to help you succeed. Visit us online to get started on your path to success today.
We are live now. Okay, good afternoon and welcome to everyone. So before we go ahead and begin with today's webinar, if you can see our screen as well as hear my voice, can you please type yes in the chat box? We just want to ensure everything's working on our end as well as on your end. Okay, yes, great. Good afternoon, great. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin with today's webinar. We are expecting a few more attendees, but I'm sure they'll join us as we begin. A pleasant good afternoon to everyone. My name is Takoa Bell. I am one of the event coordinators for the NJS BDC at Rutgers-Newark. And on behalf of Dr. Tendai Enduro, our regional director, I would like to welcome you all to our Techniques to Establish Business Credit webinar. For those of you here that are unfamiliar with the SBDC, it stands for Small Business Development Centers. And here at the New Jersey Small Business Development Centers at Rutgers-Newark, we serve as the premier provider of business training and technical assistance services to establish small businesses, startups, and as well as to entrepreneurs. We are one of 12 centers in the NJS BDC network, and we service those in Essex County. Our center is hosted by the Rutgers Business School and funded through a public-private partnership agreement between the Small Business Administration, Rutgers University, and the New Jersey Business Action Center. Our mission here is to help entrepreneurs as well as business owners start and grow sustainable, successful businesses through the delivery of one-on-one business consulting, training, and technical assistance programs. Now, all of these services are provided to you at no cost and are paid for by your tax dollars. If you or your business is located in Essex County, our website is www.rnsbdc.com. And on the top right-hand corner of our website, we have a red button labeled Request Counseling. So clicking on that button will lead you to fill out some information about your business, including the help you're seeking. And within 24 to 48 business hours, one of our consultants will reach out to you for an assessment. And for those of you here that are not in Essex County, our headquarters website is www.njsbdc.com. And on that website, you can type in your county and it will refer you to your local SBDC office. For the benefit of everyone attending today's webinar, we will be taking questions via the chat feature and the Q&A feature here on Zoom. So please feel free to post and ask your questions during the webinar, and we will do our best to respond during or once the webinar has ended. A copy of the presentation slides, along with a video recording of this webinar, will be emailed to you within 48 to 72 business hours so that you can refer to all of this information long after the end of this webinar. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you all our presenter for today's webinar, Carmen Morris. Carmen is the CEO and founder of Nibiari and Associates, as well as Business Mastery Consulting Service. Carmen is an SBDC consultant here at the NJSBDC at Rutgers-Newark in the areas of international trade, strategic planning, and credit counseling finance. And now, without further ado, I will go ahead and turn today's presentation over to Carmen.
Thanks, Dakoa. I want to thank everyone for assisting this webinar today. As Dakoa said, my name is Carmen Morris, and I am one of the consultants for the Small Business Development Center in Newark. So if you need assistance after this webinar, please feel free to contact our office and get assistance in any area of your business. I'm going to move forward with this presentation, but I just want to make a little disclaimer here, and that is that nothing that you hear on this webinar today should be constructed as a legal advice. I'm going to make some recommendations, and I'm going to be using strictly information that I've used in the last 30 years, and that works, and that I'm currently using with many businesses at the moment. Is my screen moving on your end, Dakoa?
No, it's not.
Okay. How's that? Nah?
No.
Okay, there it is. It's moving now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for that inconvenience. So we're going to be going over what is business credit. And the reason we're going to be discussing a lot about this today is because a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, do not tap into all the advantages that it's offered by having a strong business profile in the commercial industry. So we're going to talk about the process of building this profile, where to go, what is the difference between consumer credit and business credit, and how the scores get calculated, how to establish it. I'm going to cover step by step on how you can go ahead and immediately today start establishing this business credit for your business, understanding the scores and how to create the trade lines that bring about all these numbers that you're going to see on your credit score. The major agencies that govern the commercial industry credit, the business bureaus the credit bureaus that get that information and where they get that information to put it on your report, how to work with vendors and how to establish credit with vendors, and also separating your personal credit from your business credit, which is the main thing that I'm going to be discussing today. How you would not become, how not to become a personal guarantee for your business when your business can stand on its own. So what is business credit? Really, business credit is just the ability to obtain credit in the name of your tax ID number, in the name of your business, and you not using your social security number, but using your EIN number. This EIN number that is assigned to your business. So business credit scores are arranged differently than consumer credit scores. It goes in consumer credit, as many of us know, it goes from the 300s to the 800s. In the business sector, it goes from the 100, from the 1 to 100, with a 75 being a perfect score. Anything you could obtain credit between a 60 or 50, but to be a perfect score, it has to start at least at 75. And how do you get these numbers to go from 1 to 75 or to 100? It's by creating what is called trade lines. Trade lines are when you're doing business with suppliers and vendors who issue you credit on 60, 30, or 90 days basis, or banks who you have credit lines, mortgages, auto loans, and then also credit cards. If you want to know if you already have a credit profile, you could go to nav.com, that's NAV.com. And from there, you can see, you can fill out all the information and you can see if you already have a credit profile somewhere. And the reason I say this is because sometimes we as business owners, we go and we go ahead and purchase a car for the business, or we purchase a commercial property, and then we use our own information as a personal guarantee, and you don't even know that you already have a credit profile. Because what happens is that these companies that you obtain credit from, they go ahead and report anyway. So at that point, one of the bureaus may create a profile for you. So a good way to check is by obtaining your report either from nav.com or Smart Business Reports. There you can also find out if it comes back after you fill out the information that you have no records. That means that you don't have a credit profile yet for your business. But this is one great way for you to start and know if you're already out there somewhere. So how do you get started in establishing business credit? The first thing you need to do is that you need to make sure you have all these in place. Register your business with the state or local authorities in the state in which you operate. For those of you who are already in business and are already registered, you have to make sure that you are in good standing with the state. You know, that yearly report that you fill out and that they send you that form every year for you to pay, I believe it's $70. You have to make sure that is in good standing because these things get checked by different lenders and creditors. Get your tax ID number, not using your social security number as a sole proprietor or doing business just under you, but getting your tax ID number from the IRS, which is when you now register your business, it automatically takes you there and they assign you this number. This number is free. To register the business is not free, but this number is free and you get it from the IRS. Your company's telephone number. This is a big one. Your company telephone number, yes, it can be your cell phone, but it should be a cell phone that is listed or published in the business publications. I know that Verizon and AT&T do offer those services. And right now, some of these companies have different programs in which all you got to pay is like $140 per month or so, and you can have a business line. But your cell phone, you should not use your personal phone as your business phone, because if some of the vendors and the creditors, they would look at this and verify the validity of your business. And your telephone number should be a business telephone, not a personal account. Your professional website, domain name, and logo to validate the business. Many are checked, many lenders go straight and check and validate you based on this information also as well. Your professional email, it should not be at Gmail, it should not be at Yahoo, it should be at yourbusinessname.com, info or your name, whatever it is, however it is that you want to format it, but it should be your business name. It should not be one of the regular personal emails, Gmail or Yahoo. Your business bank account. This one is a big one. And let me explain to you why. You are not in business to any lender until the day that you open your bank account. That is the day that you business, that it is that they say that you are in business. I've had businesses in the past that say, well, Carmen, I've been in business for 15 years, but I was doing it under my name. I was doing everything out of my personal account. So I just opened a bank account a year ago. Well, guess what? A year ago to the lenders, and it's when you started your business. So it has nothing to do when you register to them. It has to do with the bank account, because out of the bank account, they gather a lot of information that I'm going to discuss with you that is shared with many lenders through these commercial credit bureaus. Your licenses and requirements have to be also in place for those of you who require licenses and permits and all these other things. This has to be also in place. Your business address is a huge one, and I'm going to cover that when I discuss the red flags. The business address should be the same on all of your marketing, documentation, and everything. And it should be different than your home address. The reason it should be different is because it represents a big red flag to lenders and creditors. It tells them in their mind, they're saying that anybody who has a home-based business may not be in business for long, but that necessarily doesn't have to be the fact, but that's how they think. Lenders don't like to lend to home-based businesses. This is it goes way back, that any business that is home-based, it doesn't mean that it has to be a small business, because I run a big operation from a home-based business also as well for over 15 years. But you have to keep the address, your home address and your business address completely different. And the way you can do this, you can use virtual offices. And when I say virtual offices, make sure they use a physical address, not a personal mailbox. Because a lot of virtual offices, what they do is that they give you a mailbox and they charge you $50 to $100 a month, when you can just go to the post office and they charge you a yearly fee and it will be cheaper. But do not use personal mailbox. So you can go to Rutgers, incubators, and share space. Right now, guys, there's a lot of commercial space that is available, because what we have been through in the last year or so, it has put a lot of the commercial spaces in a very difficult position. So a lot of these businesses that have commercial space, they are looking to share space. So it's very simple for you to just go and approach someone who have no conflict of interest with your business, and then ask them if they can go ahead and give you a space, or let them use their address for a fee every month. I've had a lot of clients that are having great success with this. So you can, I recommend that if you are using that, before you even reach out to Regis or any other incubators that may be more expensive, that you reach out to someone in your community or anybody who has a commercial space that you can go ahead and make use of. Do not use UPS or postal mailbox. That is a red flag. The minute you can be denied for credit, and you could be denied the credit with many of the vendors, because they do look for this. As I mentioned before, your professional email. Stay away from sole proprietorship, partnerships, and DBAs. Let me explain why. Sole proprietorships, because most of the time, it's a lot of the personal information and is run from my home, and a lot of vendors and suppliers don't like to issue credit to sole proprietorships. Partnerships, the issue with partnerships is that anytime you apply for credit or anytime you're seeking funds from the bank, the personal financials of the partners are going to be required. So in order to avoid personal guarantee, this is one way that you do it. You stay away. However, there are large organizations that use partnerships, and that's okay, because those are large organizations are mainly composed of board members, and they do require the personal guarantee. DBAs, unless you've been established business for a long time, stay away from DBAs. Lenders and creditors still think, like they used to think 20 years ago, that DBAs were used for you to shelter under another name. That's doing business as. That's what DBA stands for. So these are the things, that red flags that banks use and lenders and suppliers use to validate your business. Make sure that you follow all of these. I created this credibility checklist. These have worked, and it works 100%, guarantee. If you use it one by one in making sure that your business name, business address is correct, the business entity, that you show all this information as we just discussed on the list, this you'll never fail. Chances are that you will be given the credit that you're asking for. So in building the foundation, just like we start in consumer credit, you first start with the credit cards, the secure credit cards, then you go into small credit limits, and then you go for a car, a loan, or mortgage. You do not go apply for a mortgage before you have no credit trade lines, like secure credit cards, small credit limits. So it's like in the business industry. When you're applying for business credit and you're trying to build and establish business credit, the first thing you start with, it's with vendors and suppliers. This is your starting point. You are not going to go and try to get a commercial loan without having these credit trade lines already set up, because you will be denied, unless, of course, you use your personal guarantee. And the whole purpose of you establishing business credit is to separate yourself completely from your business. So when starting and building the blocks for your business credit, you start with the vendors. You set up vendor accounts like with Uline, Quill. There's many others that we're going to discuss throughout this webinar. Then you do the business credit card or revolving accounts. The only secure business credit card that I know of in the industry right now is issued by Wells Fargo. They're the only ones. You can deposit $500 and they will issue you a credit card. And they report to all three major credit business bureaus. Then after that, you can go ahead and apply for a mortgage or a car loan under your business. Because at that point, your credit, once you have all the vendors you need, and I'm going to be specific about the amount of vendors that you will need. Once you have all the vendors you need, then you have the credit cards, then you can go for a loan or a mortgage. Remember, the whole purpose of you establishing business credit, it's so that you would not become a personal guarantee for the business, so that your business can stand on its own. So that the company's liability is the company's and is totally separated from you. Some lenders, however, when you are applying when you're seeking funds or applying for credit, some lenders ask you, they're going to try and ask you for a personal guarantee. If you know that you already have all those credit trade lines and that your credit, your business credit, it's already 70 and above, you can shop in the market and not worry about a personal guarantee, because if that bank doesn't give it to you, then another lender will. So don't, if you go to one and it doesn't, it says, no, we need this, you should refuse this at all times, because the personal guarantee is not required once you have a perfect credit score. And the way you get this perfect credit score is by creating trade lines for your business. It is the only way to avoid the personal guarantee. So how do you start in creating this credit profile for your business? The first thing that you do is you go to Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet is one of the major agencies. This is the most widely used in the industry. You can go ahead and borrow without personal guarantee with a perfect score, a DMB. This is a number that you get and you can obtain it for free. You can go to dmb.com, and when you go there, please do not shop for anything else. This is free. They are going to offer you a lot of things. You don't need to purchase anything, because the only purpose you're going in there first is to get that number. A lot of the services that they're using, unless you want to go ahead and spend the money, it's not really necessary at the time, unless you are a bigger company and you need the information that they are providing you. At that point, then it may be necessary. But in the beginning, all you're doing is you're going in there and you're obtaining that number. This number is very important, so much so that you cannot do business with the government unless you have a DMB number. It is required to do business with the government. This Dun & Brad uses 5 different ratings of scores. And all these scores reveal different things about your company or the company whose information it wants to be obtained. The failure score is one of the scores. This reveals that the company may face financial stress in the next 12 months. So this score is mainly required for someone, if a creditor wants to know, okay, how long this person been in business, are they likely to be in business in the next 12 months, then they will pull that failure score. That failure score ranges from 1 to 5, and with 1 being the lowest risk, representing the lowest risk to the lender, and 5 the highest, which means if you have a 5, that means that, well, this business it's looking like it's going under anytime soon. Then there's the delinquency predictor. This one reveals when a company may become delinquent in their bills and cease its operation in the next 12 months. This one again is rated from 1 to 5, with 1 being representing the lowest risk to the lender and 5 the highest. Then there's Paydex scored. Many of you may have heard this one, because this is very much widely used also as well. This one is used to determine your credit worthiness, to pay back. And what they do is that they go back 2 years and see how you pay your bills. And then they range you from 1 to 100, and again, 70 being perfect. Above 50, you can be considered and also approved by many vendors and lenders also as well. Then there's the viability rating. The viability rating, this is a high-risk company. And it says that you will go out of business. This is not a maybe, or this is saying that you will go out of business, that you will represent a very, very high risk. And then the numbers go from 1 through 9, with 1 being the best. So the lower the number, the less risk you represent to that lender. Then there is the Dun & Brad rating. The DMB rating, this is basically based on the financial strength of the company. And this is measured by the size, how many employees, how many years in business, and strictly the financials that are loaded at the DMV site. When you're creating your profile, it asks you to download your financials. You don't have to do that as a small business, because if they're going to rate you from the beginning, they can rate you on any of the other ones. But this one, if it's a large organization, this one, it's mainly required. It goes from 1 to 4, and 1, it's being the best. Number 1 being the best. So then the other major ones are Experian Business and Equifax. Experian would assign you what is called a VIN number. This is the second largest business credit reporting agency, also in the commercial industry. You must have at least one vendor account in order for them to even have a profile on you. So if you never had a vendor account, or if you never had any credit trade lines, then that means you probably don't have an Experian account profile set up yet. Now, Equifax Business, this is used by a lot of cash lenders. Equifax would assign you what is called an EFX ID number. This is a 9-digit identification number that identify your business with them. And then again, with Equifax, you also have to have some vendors, at least 1 or 2 vendors that are reporting you already before they can even set a profile. So the best way to start is by having vendors that report to all these agencies. Then let's discuss the other third parties that are there. There's AFD Insight. This one supplies information on liens and judgment to the credit bureaus, to DMV, to Experian, and Equifax. Cortera also, it's another one that reports, but let me just go back to FD Insight. FD Insight, it's part of LexisNexis. If you don't know who LexisNexis is, you should become very familiar with who they are so that you can take both control of your personal credit and your business credit, because these are the people that track you. These are the people that get all the ugly things that are out there about anybody, and they bring it out and they sell it to someone else. But in the commercial, in the personal credit industry, you have more control because there's a lot of laws that protect you against these people. But in the commercial, there's politicians and lawmakers are still figuring that out, how we can go ahead and have more control. But they could just go ahead and report any judgment, liens, anything that is going on. LexisNexis become very familiar with it because you can protect yourself by knowing what they do. Now, Cortera, this is a commercial third-party bureau that reports only in transactions of 10 million and above. PayNet, many of you are familiar with them. They're the leading provider for small business. You might have heard of them because they provide a lot of information for small businesses. Accruing Business also provides information such as liens and judgment. And again, this is another LexisNexis company that you should become familiar and protect yourself from. Now, Check System Inc., many of us are familiar also with this one, and it has to do with bank accounts. This is a reporting agency under the Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. At least they're regulated, and if there's any misinformation that they're reporting to the credit bureaus about your business, you can go ahead and dispute it so that you can get taken care of. They have to do with bank ratings. This one is very, very important because many of us are small businesses. Sometimes we just let this small business account just close by itself, and we think it closed by itself, and then we just forget about it. Well, guess what? That affects you in the future because it doesn't lift your reports. It doesn't lift your credit reports because it's going to go in as negative, and it can affect you 100 points. So if you ever close an account that you have an explanation or anything, or you just never heard from, you just never had to submit any other paperwork, they never require anything from you, you can call your bank or go to the branch, and the representative will say to you, oh no, you don't need anything else, it's okay. Well, sometimes it's not okay. You need to get it in writing that you close it so you can have that record so it doesn't affect you later on. But there are rules under the FCRA, which is a good thing because these are things that you can dispute. So these are the steps. Let me just talk then about the steps of getting started with establishing the business credit. Get at least 6 vendors account. Vendor accounts are those suppliers and vendors that give you credit at 30, 60, or 90 days for you to pay it in that amount of time. Always make sure that if you are issued that type of credit, that if it's 30 days, you pay the 25th day. I always recommend to try to pay the full amount at the end of the month. Make sure that these vendors report to major credit bureaus, because not all vendors report to major credit bureaus, and most vendors report either to one or maybe the other one, because it costs them money to be able to provide that service. And then some report to all 3. There's one that I'm going to recommend here today that reports to all 3 credit bureaus, so that you can maybe start with them, and they're not that hard to obtain. Do not apply for all vendors on the same day. Please give yourself an expansion of at least 2-3 weeks before you apply for all these 6 vendors. And it's not difficult. I'm going to discuss the process once we get to the vendors example that I'm going to give you, the process as to how you can go ahead and do it. Then after you have the 6 vendors, not before, after the vendors, remember we were discussing the blocks and the foundation, how you start from the bottom up. You do not go get a mortgage before you have vendors. You should not go get a credit card before you get your 6 vendors. So the 6 vendors is the first thing you do. Guys, this really works. We do this all the time with many, many clients. And the starting point is a proven process. Get the 6 vendors, then move on to a revolving account. A revolving account is a credit card or a credit account that gives you a limit to use. And from that limit, then every month, whatever you use, you can make payments as you go. Minimum payment or whatever payment you desire to set every month. And in order to have that credit score in the 70 and above, you must at least get 3 accounts, 3 credit cards. Now, and this is without using your personal information, because once you have the 6 vendors, you don't need to use your personal information. You can go ahead and get this account. You can take advantage of Wells Fargo and use deposit the $500 and take the secure credit card, or you can go ahead and start applying for the cards, because once you have 6 vendors, even the bank who you bank with will offer you a credit card or business credit card or for your business account. Then after you have the 3 revolving accounts, then you go and move on into a bank loan, a small loan, or maybe a mortgage or a car, anything of that nature. But you don't start with bank loans until you first establish at least 6 credit trade lines. At this point, all these vendors will be reporting to all the major credit bureaus. And remember that, keep in mind that some of these accounts take at least 3 months to report. So some vendors account, mainly the ones that I'm going to discuss, they normally report within 30 days and after they report the first time, which may take them maybe 60 days, but mainly they're always on time and they report it on a monthly basis. So these are the vendors that I have worked with, many of my clients have worked with, and we have had great success. Gempler is a net 30, and they report to DMB. So you can just, the way that you apply with them is that you go on their website and you select whatever it is that you're buying and you want to buy from them. And then at the time of checkout, at the time that you're supposed to check out and you want to go and pay, then instead of clicking on paying using your credit card, whatever, or your bank account, you can click on open account. And that payment method will show up and you can go ahead and start the application process. It's pretty simple. And most of the time people get approved. Now Uline is another net 30. They report to both DMB and Experian. They do the same process as you do. You just go online, apply, purchase whatever, put anything in the shopping cart, and then at the time of checkout, then instead of choosing to pay any other payment, using any other payment method, you use open account. Now, the one that I like the best is Shirtsy. Shirtsy is also net 30. Oh, guys, I have to remind you also, some of these suppliers carry an application fee. So you can go ahead and look and see which one is best for your business. So Shirley is a net 30 and it reports to all three. This one is very simple and they sell a lot of marketing stuff that you can use for your business. I recommend that when you are working with these vendors that you go ahead and purchase something, $20, $50, whatever it is, something small. And at that point of checkout, you can just go ahead, fill out the application and pay for it. So the next time that you go back into the account, at the time of checkout, then you apply, but your profile would have already been set up. So that way they know that you are already an existing customer, an existing client, and chances are that you have a higher probability of getting approved. But Shirtsy, as I said, it reports to all three, Experian, Equifax, and DMB. So this one, you can get one credit line on all three bureaus all at the same time, which is great. So I highly recommend that one. Then there's also CEO Creative. This one is the net 30 and reports to only DMB and Equifax. And the good thing about this one is that you should only be in business. Maybe they go, now I heard day before yesterday that they're taking even people who are just in business for 30 days, which is excellent. But I keep the 60 days because I have had clients that have come to me and say, oh, I couldn't open a vendor account because they require 60 days. But I've heard from another client a few days ago that they had approved him with just 30 days of being registered and opening the bank account. So, and they offer also a lot of marketing supply. So there's tons of suppliers and vendors, and you may already have been doing business with many suppliers. Reach out to them and ask them. They would be more than happy to say, oh, sure, we report to this and that, we can give you credit. It doesn't hurt to ask. So once you have created all these trade lines, you can also, there's another way that you can build credit and establish credit for your business in as little as 90 days. But remember, this one, there is a personal guarantee on this one. You create the 6 credit vendors trade lines, then you move to the revolving accounts. At this point, you can go ahead and apply for a credit card or anything, but you have to become the personal guarantee. And the whole purpose of establishing business credit is that you want to stay away from being personally liable for your business. You want to keep it completely separate. But if you're in that position, I have had clients that are in a position in which they need funds and they need the loan pretty fast. So they need to go ahead and establish all these credit lines in order for the credit score to go up. So they go ahead and say, okay, I need it in 90 days. Then I'm going to go ahead and get a revolving account and use my personal guarantee. And then making sure at 3 months you keep all the payments for all the vendors on time, and your credit can be built and at that point. But remember, 90 days, you will need a FICO score of at least 680, and you have to become a personal guarantee. Now I'm going to be opening it up for questions. And like I said in the beginning, create your legal entity. Number one, you have to be registered with the local authorities in the state in which you operate. You have to be in good standing with the state also as well. That yearly report has to be in good standing, because especially at Duns and Brad's, they will put that on your report. Request that you have your EIN number, your business address, and phone number. Remember, they must be, your business address cannot be your home address. Remember the different things that we discussed that you can do. I highly recommend the share space. It's one of them, and it's not that expensive. And then the phone number, it has to be listed. It has to be a business number, not your personal cell phone. Open a business account. Remember, the banks rate you on the business account. The day that you open the business account, that's how long you've been in business to the lenders. Get your DMV number, get established credit trade lines with suppliers and vendors, as I just discussed, 6 vendors at least. If you can get more, the more you get, the better it is, because the higher you start getting rated, excuse me, in your credit. So get the business trade lines, get the business credit cards. Remember, Wells Fargo is the only one that uses a secure right now, unless you know that maybe your bank can issue you a card. Keep the vendor payment on time. The vendor payments, it's extremely, extremely important, because in the beginning, that's how you're going to get rated. Now, I'm going to open it for questions. Takora, are you there?
Yes, I am, Carmen.
Okay, so I'm going to open it for questions. If anybody have any questions? I know I cover a lot of information. So if you have any question as to anything that I just said, please feel free to ask.
Okay, our first question is from Joseph. How do you buy a car in the state of New Jersey in your business name?
First, in your business name. First, pull out your credit, your business credit. Go to nav.com. Remember the 2 websites that I just discussed? Get your business credit. If you don't have a business credit profile, I suggest that you wait, use the 90 days if you're going to use a personal guarantee, or go ahead and establish your credit. It's 6 months you can have great credit for your business. Wait, and that way you can go directly and you'll get approved. But you have to go in the order of establishing the credit first. If your credit is not established, it's not going to be under your business name, unless, of course, you use your personal guarantee, you use your personal credit, which is one of the things that we should avoid at all costs.
Janelle's asking, can you use a Google phone number as a business number?
No, it's not a business number, because it's not published in a business publication. It has to be a business publication list, and only the telephone companies. Verizon has one. I know AT&T has business list that they can list you on. It has to be published in a business list.
Creatively is asking, if you have a home address now, could you apply for a space and switch now?
I'm sorry, say that again. I didn't hear you.
If you have a home address now, could you apply for a space and switch now?
Yes, you can always switch. And when you change that information, you should go in the state website and change everything. Change all your information. You can go on the New Jersey Business Portal. Remember where you register your business, or you can ask the professional who register your business to go ahead and change all your information. Remember, all your information should be the same on all your marketing, on your in your website, everywhere. And it should not be a PO box number. Now, after you obtain the credit, you can go and change all that if you want. But before you obtain the credit, you should have all the credibility list in place. So when the vendors go and verify you, everything looks intact.
Alma is saying, I have used UPS and I get an address. Is this not good?
He have used UPS and what?
And they have an address. Is this
That's not good. No, it's not good. It's not good. I just had last month someone denied because of that. It's not good. Because when they pull it up, they know it's the UPS address.
V. Ortiz asking, Uline told me I had to have established with DMB and purchase over $100 to get net 30.
Who said that? Who? I'm sorry.
V. Ortiz.
Okay, yeah, some of them would say over $100. It'd be $101. That's over $100. And I know that many of them don't require an amount. But those that do require an amount, they don't carry an application fee, which is good because sometimes the application fee could be $90.
Okay, next question is, which vendor do you recommend we get started with first?
Shirtsy, it's a good one. CEO Certify is another one. Quail, it's another one. And you can also search for many others online.
Okay, Kendra's asking, I just opened my business checking account today with Capital One. I did not realize that Wells Fargo offers a better incentive. Can I open another checking account with another bank without it being seen as a red flag?
No. You can, no, don't open another checking account. You can go ahead, even if you don't have a checking account with Wells Fargo, it's a secure card. They don't require you to have an account with them.
Okay, next question for Mark. How do I get my DNB score?
How does he get his DNB score? You're going to have to go to them and pay for the report. I believe it's $19 or $29, something like that.
Okay, next question. I received a B rating on NAV. Does that mean I didn't get, does it mean that I didn't hear you mention a B grade? Oh, what does that mean? I didn't hear you mention a B grade on NAV.
Well, then you have a profile. Then that means she has a profile. Then she can just go and pull the report, which they will probably ask her to pay.
Okay. Next question. I have NAV and a business credit card. How do I get them to report to NAV so I can establish more credit?
They have what business credit card?
They have NAV and a business credit card. So they're asking how do they get their business credit card to report to NAV so they can establish more credit?
Well, no, well, you should ask them if they will who they report to. Because before you apply for with any vendor, you should know who they report to, or any credit card. But if it's a credit card, they have to be reporting to at least Equifax or Expedia.
Okay, Shantonio's asking, I moved into my salon in June, but registered my LLC to my home address before I moved in my building. Will I be able to change address? The rest of my legal documents are under my business address.
Yes, you can go online and do it online. It's about $22 or $28, something like that. You could do it online, change the information, and you can put your new address on that.
And their follow-up question is, will it update on Google?
Yes. And you should go on Google and update it yourself. You should request.
Mhm.
Because you got to remember, Google pulls out all that information from them.
Okay, Christina's saying the reporting credit agency FD insight, if you have a judgment, how long can the reporting agency report that? I had a judgment over 10 years ago.
The first thing you need to do, it's how old is the judgment?
10 years.
10 years. Well, judgments are, there's no statute of limitations, because you have a judgment, it'll stay there forever. And is this on the personal credit or the business credit? Because mainly the reporter of that is LexisNexis. So you should, the first thing you should do is that you should go ahead and dispute it with LexisNexis. Because once it's taken out of there, guys, all the information that goes into these credit bureaus comes from the third party. So if you can go ahead and take care of that third party and get that judgment taken care of there by disputing it with them, because most of the time they're going to say, oh, we got this information from the courts. The courts never supply them with information because they don't do that. So they're just using your information. And once you go take care of it on their end, it will not be, it will not show up on your credit.
She said that it's personal, but it doesn't show on her credit. She thinks that the law agency ran out of business.
Oh, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I would not worry about it. It doesn't show on your credit. Then don't worry about it.
Yeah, they said that
It
they
will never show. So who cares? They don't, if it would never show, it'll never show. Don't worry about it.
She said,
that's a good thing.
She said they never sold my information to the credit.
No, see, the information that goes to the credit bureaus doesn't go. And I'm going to be having a webinar. When is it? Personal credit. When is it?
I can post the date in the chat.
Okay. So you should attend that webinar, because I'm going to be discussing how to get rid of judgments and information that is on your credit report.
Yes, that webinar is on September 22nd at 1 p.m.
Okay.
So the next question is, this may have been answered, but should my virtual office and business phone number be established before starting the trade line accounts?
Yes. Yes. See, remember, they use that information is used to validate your business. So when they, I put a list there of all the things that you should do so that the creditor can validate your business and issue your credit.
Okay, the next question is, let me scroll up here with a few. So if you choose to use ShareSpace for the address, you would have to use that address moving forward and update all necessary documents for the state, IRS, etc., until you have a physical address?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay, Tanisha is asking, currently has a good business score, but changing business names with same services. Will this change allow me to keep that credit score, or will I have to start fresh with the new business name?
Okay, is this the same business and you just doing business as? Well, what is the situation there? I would need to know what is the situation. Are you establishing a whole new business, or you just changing the business name, making some changes to the name? It depends on the circumstance and how it is that if you are just having a DBA, or are you keeping the same business with the same business number and EIN number?
She said just changing the business name, same legal structure.
Same legal structure and same everything. And does that person have established credit already?
Let's see what she said.
Because if you are changing, you have to go on your DMV profile and supply them with documentation or legal documentation that this is happening in order for you to keep the same profile. Because if you already have good credit, it's not worth it for you to start from scratch.
Oh yeah,
The
she
changes
responded
you can-
yes. She said yes.
Okay, so then what you do is you can supply them with the official document you get from the state when you change the name. And then they will do the changes, but they will not do the changes if you just go and change the name in the information yourself. No, you have to supply them with documentation. And that's okay, that's fine. As long as you keep the same credit score and credit trade lines, it's not worth it for you to start all over again.
Okay, next question. What information will be needed to apply for a line of credit from a vendor?
The information that you need for a line of credit is to make sure that you have already validated your business with everything that we just covered here today. The vendor will issue you I've not seen many people get denied, and if they get denied, is because they don't have the business cannot be validated. So the information you need, I spoke about it, your address, registration, register in the state you're operating, being good standard with the state, a business address and a telephone number, a business telephone number, a professional website, logo. Your email has to be a professional email. It cannot be a Gmail or a Yahoo email, all those things.
And they're also asking for a business bank account.
Yes.
Okay.
And remember, you are in business the day you open your bank account.
Okay, so the next question is, if you don't have an office space, where can you obtain a virtual physical address?
Many places. You could go to Rutgers. I use Rutgers in more than 30 countries, so not that I recommend them only. There's many other offices that you can just go ahead and use a virtual office. But remember, it has to be a physical address. It cannot be a personal mailbox. It has to be a physical address. I know Regis charges like maybe $150 or $200 for the physical address, and you get the phone number and a lot of other things. They have different packages that you can shop around.
Okay, someone's asking, will all mail go to this business address, or could the mailing address be your home address?
No, the mailing address should not be your home address. It'll go to that. You can make provisions with the place you get the share space or the virtual office. They have different systems in which they would make you, they will get your mail to you, but you have to pay an extra fee for that.
Okay, Danielle's asking.
I have clients that go and pick it up once a week, every other day. It depends on the need and depends on the business.
Right. Okay, Danielle's asking, what if you have an online business you manage from home? Will you need to use a different address?
An online business that you do from home is the same thing. It's a business that needs to be validated. And that's the way it gets validated.
Okay, Desmond is asking, is there a free service app or program that provides a company phone number?
I don't quite understand that question.
Is there a free service app or program that provides a company phone number?
For like a telephone service, business telephone service?
Yeah, that's
not free. Not free. No, not that I know of. If you find that one out, please shoot me an email at carmenmorris1@gmail.com. But I don't know of any free one.
Someone commented here, Ring Central.
Ring Central, it's some of the Ring Central, and you still have to pay a fee. Okay, so the fee that you're paying at Ring Central, you might as well go ahead and set your business telephone number and have it published in a different publication through your cell phone provider or through your provider. So just count the cost. Because Ring Central is not free.
Okay, so I see a question up here going through the chat. Does closing an old business credit card also impact my business credit score?
Yes. Yes, but not for a long time, but it will.
Okay,
Closing any account would delete the trade line.
right. Okay, next question. Should you have a DNB for two separate businesses that are different business structures?
Yeah, why not? You can do that.
Okay. So
Are they separately registered? I mean, if it's two
Mhm.
separate entities, yes. Not different business models, different entities.
Joseph is asking, can I add an authorized user, individual or business, on my business credit train line?
No, it's for your business. You can add an authorized user for your credit card, but not for your for any other trade line. If you have a business card, a business credit card, yes, you can have someone, and you can give each employee a credit card from that account, and that's fine. Just make sure you read the restrictions before you do that.
Tracy's asking, what if you're an online store only? Do you still need to obtain a business address instead of utilizing your home address? Thanks.
Okay, I think I've answered that question before for somebody else. I don't know if it was the same person. Tracy, you have to, even if you are an online store, you're still a business, even if it's online. You still need to have all the things that validate your business with the lender and the creditors. This is the protocol that they follow to check and validate your business. When they validate your business, then they say, okay, this is what this person is, and then we can go ahead and issue them credit. It has nothing to do whether it's online or it's a physical location or anything. It's the protocol and it's the criteria that they use, the guidelines that they use to validate your business.
Okay, and I see a question from Mark. Please discuss best path, e.g. specific steps for people who have good personal credit, but who need to increase business credit. My business is registered with the state with an home address, and I use personal cell phone for business.
A lot of small businesses do that. And all you have to do is start separating yourself from the business. I hope that if you have already obtained credit, there's another thing, guys. If you have already obtained credit for your business with your personal guarantee, it is extremely difficult to detach yourself now. I mean, it can be done, but it's extremely difficult. So if you are establishing credit, you have great personal credit, and you're establishing credit for your company, then start with establishing credit for your company with the vendors, and then move on without using your personal guarantee. But if you have not done that yet, then just start it from the beginning by using the vendors, at least three revolving accounts, which is the credit cards. After you have those 6 vendors, your credit should be above 60. So with that 60, you can get many other credit cards from different banks. You can go ahead and deposit $500 and get a secure credit card with Wells Fargo or you can go ahead and talk to your bank. Chances are that when you go to your bank, the bank is going to say, oh yeah, yes, we can give you the card, but then they're going to use your personal information. And this is what you must make it clear to them. No, I don't want to use my social security number. I want to use my tax ID number, my EIN number. Any other question?
That looks like that was the last question. Let me just double check the chat. Okay, we have another question. Can I obtain business credit internationally, such as Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, or Hong Kong?
Yes. Yes. The ones that I discussed today are strictly for the US. But let me just tell you, because I just did a transaction in Dominican Republic. And when they pull your credit, what they do is they go through the DMV. So in most countries, they're already doing that. So you will not have an issue. And set it here in the US and you'll see how these companies operate all over the place.
And our follow-up question is how?
How?
Yeah, how can they go ahead or go about obtaining this?
Okay. If you have any established vendors in that particular country, like I've done a lot of business in China, so I have credit with many vendors in China. If you're talking about Hong Kong, I know there's a trade exchange in Kowloon, Hong Kong, where all they do is they work with vendors, and you can get that information online. You can reach out to whoever supplier you have in that particular country and ask them, who do you report to? Because they have to report to a specific place in order for you to benefit from it. And then you start with the same process. You start with the vendors. They're the ones that set the stage for you to get credit anywhere.
Okay, I'm seeing another question from Danielle. Where would a home-based business get a separate address from?
Well, you're gonna have to go, like I said, Rutgers or those share office space or any incubators. Talk to some of the development centers around where you live. They may have places that they share space or do any other type of business transaction. Look around you around where you have where you live. Maybe there's businesses that are struggling and they want to rent a little piece of their space or for you to use their address. That's a lot of people are doing that right now, because quite frankly, a lot of commercial spaces are struggling.
Okay, our next question from Joseph. Carmen, do you have any software or courses to help us build business credit?
There's many out there. There's a few out there, but it's very costly. And it's very simple for you to do it. You don't need a software to start establishing business credit. So that's my opinion. I mean, you can go ahead and pay $1,000 to $3,000 for software that is going to do the same thing that you can physically do. And it's done quick. So all these sophisticated software that are out there, I mean, if you want to spend the money, you can go ahead and do it, but I would not recommend it. To be honest with you, I would not. I would rather you do it yourself, you learn it, and once you learn it, it's even fun to do it, and it feels good when you need funds for your business and you can just get it from anywhere.
Okay, and that looks like that was our last question. Let me just double check the chat here. Okay, another question. Do you have a list of international vendors to build business credit?
International vendors, let me just tell you, I don't give out lists of internationals because it's like, it's very, very different. Whoever your supplier is, whatever your business uses, you can go ahead and source the suppliers. And it's very simple. You ask them the question. Do you issue what we need to do in order to have at least net 30, 60, or 90 days credit? But as far as me giving you the suppliers, oh my God, when you go to trade shows, all of those suppliers work with you. Look for specific products that your company uses and source this product, source the vendors and talk to them. See, here in the US, it's easier because all these vendors automatically give you the credit. But when it's international, it's a little different. I work with banks in different countries, and these banks have different requirements that you at least have credit with some vendors again, but they don't require as many as is required here in the US before a bank issues you a credit card. Outside of the US is completely different. But you should, my advice to you is that you source the vendor for the supplies that you use and talk to them, approach them, see what their requirement is, and start doing business with them.
You also commented Alibaba.
If you're not familiar with Alibaba, please, please, please stay away from it. Only do business with people who are gold suppliers 3 years or plus. Okay, 3 years and above. Only do business with those people. Everything else, stay away from it because you can get scammed very, very easy.
And he also commented, when are you going to do a class on international business credit?
That is coming, yes. That is coming. I actually don't do a class on international business credit. I discussed that on my export-import course. That's when I discuss business credit because it's very unique and it's a lot of information. So I don't discuss international business credit on this platform. I only discuss that in the courses that I have.
Okay, and that looks like that was the last question.
Well, if that was the last question, I want to thank everyone for being on this webinar. And guys, remember, it is not hard. And if you are in business, make the commitment to establish your business, to let it stand on its own when it comes to financials and when it comes to obtaining credit or getting your suppliers. If you're not in business a long time, let me tell you, I've been doing this for 35 years. I've seen a lot, and I know I've not seen it all, but I tell you the mistakes that I made in the past, and this is how I learned, by those mistakes. But you don't have to walk that path, especially in today's business world. Today, everything is made so easy for you. When it comes to business credit and personal credit, you should do it yourself. You're the best person to do it for your business. You're the best person to do it for yourself, because once you pay someone to do it for you, you will make the same mistake again. But once you learn it, I call it the game of credit, especially when it comes to personal credit. There is nothing on your credit report that you cannot get rid of. Absolutely nothing. But you have to make the commitment and take action right away. Today, if you are on this webinar, the first thing you need to do is go and obtain that DMB number, create a profile. And if you don't have all those things that I listed to validate your business, start by doing that. If you don't have a domain name, go to GoDaddy or any of the other places where they sell domain name. Create an info at yourbusinessname.com. Very simple. Go to Fiverr. Have somebody set up a 1 or 2 page website for $100 or $150. Make the investment to your business. Create that profile that your business can be validated by any lender or any supplier. But you should do it yourself so that you can go ahead and enjoy the fruits of having a prosperous business and a business that is growing, because it feels good when the business is growing. As an entrepreneur, and you know that your sales are coming in and that you don't have to worry about certain things because you have the working capital for you to go ahead and operate, it feels good, but it takes work. And the work, you should do the work. You're the leader of your organization. You're the one. If anything happens in your business, it's your fault. It's nobody's fault. So start by taking immediate action today. Start by using that list to validate your business. Everything you can do it online. You can go ahead and ask to see a counselor at the SBDC. We're there to help you. Someone would take you through the process and assist you in giving you all the recommendations and further recommendations on what you need to do. So with that, I want to thank everyone for being on this webinar. Tokoa, I pass it over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Carmen, for that informative presentation and for your time today. So I am seeing a lot of comments about speaking or having a post-webinar consultation. So if you're looking for any type of business counseling, if you're looking for any type of help in areas of marketing, e-commerce, cybersecurity, any certification, let's see what else do we have. We have state certifications as well, government or federal. We are here to help, as Carmen did mention. So you can visit our website, www.rnsbdc.com, to request that counseling.
We're having an Ask the Expert, I believe. What is it?
Yes, we are. So I'm going to go ahead and speak about that in just a few minutes. But yes, we are having a Ask the Expert. It'll be a live virtual Q&A, as well as some webinars where you're able to actually come and ask your questions to all of our consultants that have expertise in different areas, such as marketing. We have startup, procurement, cybersecurity, manufacturing, and financing. So I will post a link to that in just a few seconds. So if you're interested in that webinar, please stay tuned on the chat here. But for now, I'm going to post some of our upcoming webinars, as well as the personal credit webinar that Carmen then mentioned. That will be on September 22nd at 1 p.m. The link to that is the first link there. And that is the Understanding Personal Credit and Scores webinar. And later this week, we are having 2 different webinars. We are having our independent contractors versus employees, as well as our e-commerce planning part 3 webinar. Those will both be held on Friday, 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. So if you're interested in any of those topics, please feel free to go ahead and register for them. As well as at the bottom, the last link is the direct link to request that one-on-one business counseling. So if you're looking for any assistance for your business, if you're located within Essex County as well, please feel free to click on that link and we will help you out with your business. I do also want to mention again that we do service those within Essex County. So if you're not in Essex County and you're looking for the same business assistance, you can visit our headquarters website. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat, njsbdc.com. And on that website, you actually can type in your local county and you will be referred to your local SBDC office to receive that assistance as well. Carmen, I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen for a second so everyone can see the flyer
Sure.
for that.
Or yours.
Great, thank you. Is everyone seeing it now? No, let me see. Share. Okay, yeah, so this is our flyer that we have. It will be held on National Small Business Week. So that's September 13th to the 15th. So we do have 6, 7, 8 different sections from the 13th to the 15th, as early as 10 a.m. and as late as 4:30 p.m., which includes our webinars as well for this week. So again, if you're interested, you will be receiving the video replay of this webinar. So you feel free to use these links here to register for them, or you can visit rnsbdc.com/training, and you'll find the link to go ahead and register for any of these portions that may be of interest to you. And the webinars listed in the chat are just a few of the ones that we are hosting this year. We have many other webinars and workshops and topics such as financing, access to capital, COVID disaster loans, marketing and branding, e-commerce, startup assistance, state certification, government contracting, human resourcing, and so much more. So if you were to visit our website, you will definitely find a webinar or workshop that best fits your business needs. I do want to remind you all that you will be receiving the presentation slides as well as the video replay on this webinar within 48 to 72 business hours. So you can have this information and apply the strategies and techniques to help your business grow. After this webinar has ended, in the browser, you will see a survey pop up. That survey will help us to adjust our presentations in the future, as well as give us some information on the kind of assistance you may be needing for your business. So if you have some time to complete that, your feedback is much appreciated. And on that note, we will now go ahead and end this webinar. I want to say thank you to our presenter again, Carmen, for sharing your expertise with us. And thank you to all of our attendees for taking the time out today to attend and participate in today's webinar. And we look forward to seeing you all at our future webinars and workshops. Have a great day, everyone.